Hi, so it's Mary here. Today is the 2nd of November 2022, and I just want to discuss some theories out there about depression and other severe mental health conditions like schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. So basically, the serotonin hypothesis and the dopamine hypothesis in depression and schizophrenia came about in the 1950s after the accidental discovery of chlorpromazine in, I think it was after the World War, when a French surgeon discovered this drug and that the effects of it were very numbing, sedative, it was blunting down of the emotions. So he said, aha, this is the reason for schizophrenia. It's because there's too much dopamine in a person's brain. So if we give them this antipsychotic, then that will blunt their emotions and it'll cure them of their illness. We've seen since then the depression hypothesis of lower serotonin has come out, and it's only 2022, I think it was August or September, when a study came out. It was groundbreaking research which has had lots of hits all over social media. There was a study published in the Journal of Molecular Psychiatry which found that there was no compelling evidence to suggest that there's a low concentration of serotonin in people who suffer from depression. This is now people who haven't been administered antidepressants before, and they're going in and they're taking the drugs and their illness is just not getting better. So these researchers, I think they did 17 meta-analyses and systematic reviews, and they showed there was no compelling evidence. So we're progressing. This is positive because it'll only be maybe another 10 years that they might question the dopamine imbalance. There might be some similar studies that come out in reputable scientific journals to show that we've been medicating people with the wrong drugs. Now, on the flip side of that is, once, I've had my own psychotic break 10 years ago in Vietnam, and I was told to take, after 15 minutes interview with a psychiatrist, to take a neuroleptic drug, which was an old traditional shitty antipsychotic, for 18 months, even though my symptoms had completely softened when I came back to Ireland. So once you're on the drug for a prolonged period of time, then the chemical imbalance does actually occur. It could be 6 months in an individual, it could be 9 months, it could be a year, but prolonged exposure to these drugs is quite damaging. So the Canadian psychiatrist, I can't remember his name, but he came up with the idea of supersensitivity psychosis in the 1980s, where basically you may not have had a chemical imbalance. There's some other reason behind it. But once you're exposed to this neuroleptic or atypical antipsychotic, then your brain counteracts the drug by sprouting new dopamine receptors. And it's the opposite for depression. Once you're given an antidepressant, yes, there's more serotonin going through the synapse, but then the brain naturally offsets this by slowing down the drug effect, and then fewer serotonin receptors will then sprout over time, and then depression will get worse over time. So then you're tried on a newer drug, and then in a year's time you're tried on a different drug. So what's the other alternative? What could be causing these conditions? Has it anything to do with Kundalini energy? Basically, our Kundalini energy is a dormant energy which sits at the base of our spine. It comes from the Mother Earth, essentially. It's more a holistic way of viewing mental illness. And once you activate and, get the Kundalini rising through all your energy centers, there's 7 energy centers going from the root chakra up to the crown. You need to open up these energy centers and release any blockages in them, because basically your brain you've got your right side, which is your creative brain. It's responsible for intuition. It's your artistic genius. And your left side is more rational, logical, analytical. But if you don't have alignment of these two energy centers by raising your vibration of your Kundalini energy, then your right side can become more active, or your left side can become more active. So that's where psychosis and schizophrenia, which may even be just paranormal gifts or telepathy, you're highly sensitive, but that's when the right side of the brain is overactivated. And I've heard of stories where people who practice Kundalini and they're not very well versed can actually overactivate their right brain, and then, it seems like they're going through a psychotic episode, but that can reflect paranormal experiences quite significantly. And then on the other side, if your left brain becomes too activated, you become overwhelmed, melancholic, you can suffer from depression. So the idea is to align balance between these two. I'd like to know your thoughts on if you think Kundalini or blockages in these different channels can lead to overactive right brain or overactive left brain, and this is where mental illness can stem from. Okay, thanks. Bye.